Hello, my name is Donald Watson, and I was one of the key founders of the Vegan Society in 1944. I'm going to be your guide around this future vegan world, which is what we believe we can create for the benefit of all humankind, animals, and our beautiful planet. If you've ever wondered what would happen to formerly farmed animals, or how our environment could change for the better, this is your chance to explore our interactive world and find out. Hello and welcome to a vegan world, 80 years in the future. You can walk around our world and learn more about how animals live happily, why we have more space for growing crops and building homes, more than enough food for everyone, abundant wildlife, cleaner rivers and healthier lives. Follow the white pins and the blue arrows for a guided tour, or feel free to wander around yourself. We hope our utopia inspires you to consider our collective future and take action to help us build a more compassionate, healthier, and more sustainable world together, one choice at a time. You can also learn more from me by clicking Learn More on this panel. I was born in South Yorkshire in 1910 and lived until the age of 95. My wife and I coined the term vegan in 1944, along with the help of my non-dairy vegetarian peers. We considered terms like dairy ban, Vitan, and benevore before settling on the word vegan, which takes the first three and the last two letters of vegetarian. This new term defined a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. The word vegan eventually entered the Oxford English Dictionary in 1986. Some of the oldest principles of non-violence towards animals were seen in 500 BCE, with Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras promoting benevolence among all species. Around the same time, Siddhartha Gautama, better known as the Buddha, was discussing vegetarian diets with his followers. In 1806 CE, the earliest concepts of veganism were just starting to take shape, with Dr. William Lambe and Percy Bysshe Shelley amongst the first Europeans to publicly object to eggs and dairy on ethical grounds. A growing empathy for animals has driven the vegan movement. One of the best ways to reject the harm and use of animals is through our diets and lifestyle. As people become more aware of the harm in animal industries, they often choose to avoid animal products in food, clothing, and cosmetics. Veganism has become a part of the environmental movement too. Research has shown that eating a vegan diet could be the single biggest way to reduce your environmental impact on Earth. There is also growing evidence of the benefits that plant-based diets can have for our health and well-being. You can visit the garden in our world to learn more about how healthy plant-based diets can prevent long-term diseases and keep people healthier for longer. Did you know algae is considered a primary source of omega-3 fats? We all need some fat in our diets. Omega-3 fats have an important role in supporting eye health, skin health, our immune system, and brain and nerve development. Ensure you get enough omega-3 fat by including one or two of these options in your daily diet. A tablespoon of ground linseed, a tablespoon of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of shelled hemp seeds, or 6 walnut halves. Did you know the food system accounts for around 60% of all biodiversity loss alone? And one of the biggest problems is land being cleared for livestock grazing or to grow crops for animal consumption. In our world, you could expect to see lots of land rewilded and returned to forests, with many different types of native plant species returning, with the added bonus of absorbing carbon from the air. All of this new vegetation creates welcoming habitats and food sources for our wild creatures, who you can see here. Agricultural practices such as intensive grazing reduce the abundance of food plants and bee diversity, as does habitat loss caused by land use change. By cultivating veganic farming, we would expect to see bees thrive, helping to pollinate crops which provide food and shelter for animals. Wild tulips were in danger of extinction due to overgrazing of livestock, overharvesting of cut flowers and climate change, but are now abundant. The most impactful thing an individual can do to reduce their impact on the environment is to avoid all animal products. Why? Because the production of meat and other animal-derived products places a heavy and unnecessary burden on the environment. Here, we'll show you all the ways that a plant-based food system would benefit our climate, reduce pollution, and clean up our rivers. Did you know agriculture is a big contributor to the world's greenhouse gas emissions, up to 1/3 of them? The majority of this comes from livestock farming, and it's estimated that animal products alone account for up to 83% of the emissions caused by EU diets. We can see that our precious world has begun to mitigate the effects of climate change, because one big emitter of the very powerful greenhouse gas methane, livestock, has been removed. The fact that we have much more land covered in trees and plants globally also helps us by absorbing carbon dioxide from the air. We have been able to mitigate or even prevent the worst impacts of climate change, resulting in a stabilized climate, reduced bad weather events, like droughts, floods, and wildfires, and food security for all. Did you know 11 times greater fossil energy is required to produce animal protein than plant protein for human consumption? This is because livestock farming requires enormous fossil energy consumption for feed, breeding, production and spread of fertilizer, electricity use, and farm operating costs. In a vegan world, you can see the variety of plant-based sources of protein growing, such as beans and nuts, which require much less processing compared to meat, making these foods much more energy efficient. You might be wondering what happens to previously farmed animals in a vegan world. With no demand from humans, 1.2 trillion, yes, trillion animals are no longer bred into lives of suffering to be killed for food each year. This number often surprises people, as the scale of the animal industry is hidden from view in industrial farms. You can find out more about how animals will live here. All animals are treated with love and respect, and free to express their natural behaviors in sanctuaries where they live happily alongside humans, much like our companion animals do. Allowed to express their natural behaviors, we find them to be playful, inquisitive, and intelligent, just like other animals, such as cats and dogs. This has also benefited humans, since growing our sense of compassion has made us kinder to each other as well, and created a better world for everyone. All animals are sentient beings, capable of experiencing feelings and sensations just like us humans. Sadly, humans have been socially conditioned to view other animals as inferior to humans, with some, such as our companion cats and dogs, viewed as having more value than others, such as farmed pigs, chickens, and cows. This belief is known as speciesism and results in humans exploiting animals for food, fashion, or entertainment. Some people say this is just the way things are, but consider that many of the world's norms have changed over centuries. Extending respect and love to all animals is a natural next step in humanity's moral progress. Millions of other animals have also been freed from lives of captivity, such as on fur farms, zoos, safari parks, aviaries, breeding programs, circuses, and other entertainment, in private homes and collections, and in laboratories for many years. Did you know pigs are highly social beings? They often play by chasing each other and with balls, which is a sign of their intelligence. Here you can see that Jersey cows are living much healthier, happier lives for as long as 20 to 30 years, their natural lifespan. Historically, cattle would only live a few months or years, with unwanted male calves killed so that their mother's milk could be taken for human consumption. Did you know the food system accounts for around 60% of all biodiversity loss alone? And one of the biggest problems is land being cleared for livestock grazing or to grow crops for animal consumption.